Hey folks, what's going on? Coach Gav here, Killers from the Fitness with episode 27 of Coach Gav Live with our third attempt of it today. For some reason the Wi-Fi or the phone signal down by the gym was shit this morning, so which actually worked out really well because it's given me a bit of time to I got some other stuff done today, and I was reminded about something different, so content wise will be a little bit better. And that's kind of like what we said the other day, kind of from our Thursday video, which would have been episode 25. Everything in life, it is what it is. It's no more, no less. It's exactly what it's meant to be at the exact moment that it is. We're back. Right, folks, I don't know how well this video is going to go with the connection. There seems to be something up with the network today, but anyways, we shall persist on as we usually do. So, back, I'm a big American football fan, for those of you who haven't kind of copped it or triggered it already. Big New England Patriots fan. I have been since like 06, 07. And this February just gone, they played in the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl being the end of season, it's like the Champions League final basically for American football. And the Patriots won, but for the entirety of the game actually, they were losing. They were behind, and actually they were behind by the biggest margin in Super Bowl history. So they were playing the Atlanta Falcons, and the Patriots were just getting thumped all game long. And I got to halftime, and I was like, "Shit, it's not looking like it's going to happen." And I couldn't see them turning it around because the things they had to do to stop the Falcons scoring more points, to start scoring more points themselves, and they're two very big things, and they kind of it was a bit of a struggle. So I was like, "Oh, it could be tricky here. Maybe it's not going to happen." Now, there was always a slimmer of hope, you know, and it's like in boxing, they always say there's a puncher's chance. So there's always a chance. And I look back at kind of, you know, the Man United Bayern Munich final from the Champions League in 1999, where they got to 2 goals literally in stoppage time and won it at the death. But in both situations, both teams stayed in the game. They kept trying, they kept turning up, they kept putting in the effort, they kept putting in the work, and then eventually the persistence paid off, or they got lucky. Like the Patriots overturned at 28-3, so a 25-point margin. No, was it slightly more? Yeah, 28-3 margin. Like 25 points in American football is 4 possessions, and that means like they scored, and the Falcons scored again. So the game ended up being a tie. Like it was 35-35. The Patriots won, 31 apiece. No, it wasn't. 28-7 is 2 makes it 30. Yeah, it was 35 all at the end of regulation. So basically, the Patriots were down the whole game, and so many different things, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. All these different things needed to happen for the Patriots to stand a chance of winning. And slowly but surely, one at a time, these things started to happen. They turned over the ball. They stopped the Falcons from scoring. They got a score on the board themselves. They got the ball back quicker. They got another score. Stopped the Falcons from scoring again. And slowly they started chipping away at it. And like I said, they had the biggest deficit kind of in Super Bowl history. They're like, if you overturn this, it'll be the biggest deficit ever overturned in the history of the sport, in like the 50-plus year history of it. So, but like I said, at halftime I was like, "Oh, will I knock it off? Will I not?" And I was like, "No." I was like, the Patriots don't make the Super Bowl every year, and kind of just stick with it. And you know, and that's how, if you start something, finish it, see it out, no matter what way the result is going to be. And that's something I'm learning from playing a lot of snooker lately as well. Is that, okay, well, finish it out till the very end, no matter what happens. And I have a funny story about that coming up in a few minutes. So, where in your life do you find that you're unable to see the outcome, and it puts you off making the effort? Where in your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, any self-development wise, anything like that, where are you struggling to kind of like, "Oh, sure, things will never be different"? Things will never be different if you don't change. If you don't go and change, you know, your outlook or your mindset on something, and your actions on a daily basis, and what you pursue, and how well you use your resources in life, you know, then you're right. Things will never change. You're absolutely fucking right. And it's all you have to do is just, claw back bit by bit by bit. The Patriots weren't going to overturn that 25-point deficit like that. They knew it was going to take at least 4 touchdowns. So a touchdown being 7 points. It was going to take at least 4 of them. Well, at least, yeah. So you're kind of going, well, that's a big ask. And things in your life are going to be a big ask. When you're changing your habits, when you're changing these habits that you've lived and had for 5, 10, 15 plus years, 20 years, of course it's going to be hard. But everything, kind of living unhealthy, living a below average life is fucking hard. Making changes to live the life you want, living a life of kind of greatness, is also hard. You just need to decide, well, which of these things do I do? By living a below average life, by living below kind of your standards, is hard because it cuts off certain options. It eliminates you from being able to do certain things, from being able to go certain places. So that's a hard thing to do. Oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. And especially when it's something that's in your control. Our health is by and large in our control. So we're always going to be able to kind of look after our health in some way. Even people who find like, okay, well, I've got this injury or this illness. Okay, you can still go and do make the best of it. Make things less shit. I don't know why the screen's gone so dark all of a sudden. Bring it over here. It's a little better. So, and it's I've experienced first. Is it just me or is it really dark on the screen, lads? Anyways, so like I said, so if I didn't see the Patriots match unfold in front of my very eyes, I was like, this is unbelievable. And still now when I look back at it, I was kind of going, it is fascinating. And like I said, so they were behind the whole game. They tied it with the last possession with a couple of minutes left, went into overtime, and they won it. And it was sporting wise is one of the best memories I'll ever have, and it's great. It was great thing to see, but also the fact it was my team too was kind of really, really kind of special too. But there's always going to be those there. It's a little better lighting wise, and that's it. Your relationship with yourself in life. It's only going to change if you make a change, if you stick at it, if you persist at it. You're not going to change these things just willy-nilly. The gym turns 3 in September. It's been 3 full years of testing things out, seeing what works, succeeding with some, failing with a lot. There's a lot of stuff we fail at. And there's been many, so many times where I could have been like, let's just pack it in, let's just go get a 9 to 5, let's get a normal full-time job in a different gym, get a steady income coming in, get a bit of money under your belt, get on top of your bills, start saving, Jesus, even go for a holiday. And I'm just like, no, I can't pull myself away from it because I'm like, it's gonna turn around. And it's when you persist, and again, I can see the thread building through all the episodes. Consistency, having a plan, looking after your ABCs, sticking with things no matter what. Like if I genuinely got to the point where I knew I had exhausted all my options and all my resources to make the gym a success, then I'd be like, okay, now we got to kind of call it quits. As opposed to kind of where and there's going to be situations in your life too where, let's say you're trying a new lifestyle, diet wise, or a new training plan or something like that then as well, or you're changing up your routine to try and do more. There are going to be spells and patches where you're doing the work but you're not seeing a result. That's fine. That's quite normal to have happen then as well. That's just one of these times where you got to persist, you got to stay consistent with it and let the effort accumulate and build up, and then the results come kind of flushing through. And those periods are almost like a small test to be like, hey, how bad do you really actually want this? Are you going to stick with it because it's easy to stick to a plan when things are going good. It's easy to stick to a plan when it's sexy and fresh and it's a New Year's resolution and it's all this other kind of crack. But are you going to stick with it when kind of it gets a little monotonous, when it gets a little samey? Because the people who stick at it and stick through it through times like that, they're the ones that get the results that you're like, Jesus, I wish I was like him or like her, because they just went that little bit further. And as Johnny is one of the guys in the gym, we always say, it's never crowded on the extra mile, and it really isn't, and it's even less crowded on kind of the mile of kind of consistency and patience. Like if you like, there's such a small percentage of it. You know, if you're one of these people that do stick through to the tough times and kind of, you know, buy into understand that it's going to be a bit of a process and it is going to pay off eventually. You know, like, you know, go look at building a house. How often do you see a house just magically poof, just appear up out of nowhere? It takes time, and no matter how fast and how great and how accelerated technology and society and all these things get, some things just take time, and there's nothing you can do about it but be patient. Self-development, it takes time, and the only way, self-development takes time. Changing your health, changing your body shape, getting stronger, getting faster, it takes time. Sometimes the time it takes is quite short. We're talking weeks and months. Other times we're talking months and years. And other times we're probably talking years and years. Like, I've spent since March of 2016 really dedicatedly working on improving myself. And I'm still at it. And we're like a year and a half all over it. And it's probably going to be something I continually do the whole time. You know, the same, like I said, the gym. It's 3 years into it and we're just starting to get our stride now, and then you go on from there. So to sum up, a lot of the time when we're putting in an effort, and when we've spoken about how kind of results in health and fitness and mind and body require you to make payment now for the result to come later on. So you're going to have to put in the work, even though there's no 100% guarantee. There's a very high likelihood, like, you know, there's a high likelihood that it's going to rain in Ireland. It's not a guarantee, but it's a very high likelihood, you know. So you're putting in that work, you're trusting that, okay, well, if I do all these things and I do them over enough time, you know, kind of it turns the tide, it pays off, and we're sorted. Right, folks, I'm off to talk about a little one. I'll talk to you at some stage tomorrow, an episode, well, possibly tomorrow. We'll see how things go. I'm so glad I haven't done this. Like, oh, it's going to be a daily video, because and that's actually one thing why I didn't do it as a daily video, because I said, right, I wanted to allow that little bit of wiggle room, you know, to kind of, I realize I am hitting daily sometimes, or more often than not, but like I said, being realistic with saying, okay, well, I knew there's times where I'm not going to either have anything wise and kind of helpful to say, and again, have that wiggle room with your plans. Have a little bit of breathing room where you can go off for a weekend, or you can go for a night out, or you can go whatever, and it's not going to completely scupper your plan, and you're not going to fucking hate yourself the next day for saying, oh, I hadn't drank too much yesterday, because again, that's just not what you need to be doing. Right, folks, I'm off. Take it easy. God bless. See you soon.